Congresswoman Bass, thank you so much for speaking with Voice of America.
Oh, my pleasure.
It has been a month since President Trump inaugurated. So far, how do you evaluate his job performance?
Well, I'm still waiting to see if he actually understands what his job is. It's not real clear. He doesn't seem to be very comfortable in the role of president yet. I do believe that he wasn't expecting to win. And so I think he still is functioning like a CEO of a major company and is struggling in understanding the different branches and the checks and balances of our system.
President Trump just issued a new revised travel ban, temporarily halting the issuance of visas for citizens from 6 Muslim-majority nations, including 3 African countries. President Trump said this needs to be done to protect America. What is your view on this travel ban?
First of all, I refer to it as a Muslim ban, and I do not believe that it was necessary, and I believe that people in his administration, the Department of Defense, the intelligence community also agrees that there was no particular reason to do this. I think this is a political move. I think this is a desire to satisfy his constituents, the people that supported him, where he said he was going to ban all Muslims from coming into the United States. When he realized he couldn't do that, that didn't make sense. You'd have to ban an awful lot of people from France and Belgium and Great Britain. And so I think this was the way he was able to satisfy his constituents. I think it's inappropriate. I think it sends a terrible message around the world. And I also think that it is a prime way for ISIS to recruit people and to send the message that you see there is a war on Islam in the United States. So there's nothing about the travel ban that I think is positive, was warranted, and I think it is only going to do harm to our nation.
Your district encompasses many neighborhoods in Los Angeles, and your constituents are very diverse. How has this policy or other policies affect your constituents so far?
Well, I will tell you that it's made people in Los Angeles extremely angry and extremely fearful. And so we do have many mosques in the area. The Muslim community is very diverse, representing many different countries, including a lot of native-born Americans. But in addition to the Muslim ban, there is his guidelines that he issued on immigration that also has had an absolute chilling effect in the community. And last night we had a town hall. We had a couple hundred people that attended. It was standing room only, and people are absolutely terrified. There's crazy stories out there. There was a father who dropped his daughter off to school, and while he was driving away, he was pulled over and stopped and deported or detained. So it is such a serious problem in Los Angeles that in the Los Angeles Unified School District, they had to bring in extra counselors, number one, to convince the kids to come to school, because the kids were afraid to leave their parents. They were afraid that when they go home, their parents might not be there. And also just to deal with the psychological trauma that this is doing in communities, they had to have extra counseling staff. Can you imagine that? There is no reason for this policy. I think it's just extremely mean-spirited. And now there's 2 other aspects to the policy where Trump is saying that he's only interested in arresting, detaining, and deporting criminals. If you read the actual policy, the policy is so general that the mere fact that you're in the United States is essentially a crime. And so because of that, everybody is eligible for deportation who is undocumented. The other aspect of it now, they're talking about if you are a parent and you pay to have your child brought over to the country illegally, we might arrest you for human trafficking. And also, if you're a parent that comes with your children, when we arrest and detain you, we might take custody of your children away from you. These are the kind of policies that you think of in totalitarian countries, not in the United States. So I know that I plan to, as well as my constituents, fight as hard as possible against these policies.
You are the ranking member in the House Subcommittee on Africa and Global Human Rights and Global Health. What would you like to see President Trump's, in terms of relations with U.S. relations with Africa, take action or change?
I do think that we should make some changes in foreign aid. And I think that foreign aid should focus more on infrastructure development in countries versus just one-way aid. So I would like to see us put resources in building roads and building up electrical infrastructure, as well as building up agriculture capacity. So the other thing that I would like to see in terms of U.S. policy toward Africa is really promoting U.S. business involvement on the continent. We are very behind. A lot of Americans are critical of the role China has played in Africa, but I'm not, because I feel like instead of criticizing China, why don't we increase our involvement? The Africans need to have support, and they're going to get support wherever it's available. So rather than criticizing the Chinese, we need to step up.
President Trump's issued a budget proposal that plans to slash State Department and USAID funding while increase spending for Defense Department. As a House senior member in the Foreign Affairs Committee, what's your view on this proposal?
Well, my view is that if he truly understood the presidency and the role of the United States in the world, he would understand that he wouldn't need to spend so much money in defense if diplomacy was working. And so I think to increase funding to defense and cut funding to the State Department is really problematic. In the long run, if it holds, you're going to have to spend even more money in defense because you will have decreased funding for diplomacy. I prefer diplomacy rather than war.
Lastly, is there any message you would like to send to Voice of America audience worldwide?
The Voice of America audience I have spoken to on many, many occasions, and I think that the Voice of America is critical. I hope that it is not the subject of the cuts. And I hope that the rest of the world continues to have faith in the United States. We're going through a difficult time period now. I know that we will get through it.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman.
You're very
Bass,
welcome.
so much for your time.